Right, are we rolling? We're rolling. We're straight in. Lovely. Right, I'm going to get this right. Lloyd Nwagboso. Yes, fucking
Smashed
mint.
it, Jacky. Absolutely smashed it, mate.
I checked before we started rolling. I was like, I need to get this right this first time. Well, Lloyd, welcome, mate. Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, mate. How are you?
Yeah,
How are you?
really good.
We
Try and
good?
keep that about a fist away from your face.
Yeah, I will do. Sure.
Nice one. Yeah, great to have you down. We haven't seen each other. I was just saying before. ADE.
It was Eddie last year, wasn't it? October, and that was the first time we'd seen each other in what? 3, 4, 5 years, maybe.
I don't remember. Did I see you? Did I see you with Defected?
It was the Defected show we had there, yeah.
Yeah, because Dennis, I was spotted Dennis, and Dennis
Yeah.
had come down, and I remember seeing, like, I saw Wes and everyone.
It was so nice to see you, mate. It was great to see you.
I hadn't seen anyone in so long, and I went straight to the green room, and I just saw you, because towering over top of everyone.
Because you can't fucking miss me, can you?
But it was so nice to see you and to pop in, because obviously I spent quite a lot of time for 3 years going to Defected shows, playing, going when I wasn't playing, and seeing there was a few new heads, but seeing similar heads. You know, Wes was there, Dennis was there. Then I saw a few other people, like Alicia was there, and just being back in amongst it. I did get like a warming feeling of, this was a lot of fun. But also, I think everyone asked me, even you, Dennis, said, "Do you miss it?" And I genuinely mean it when I said I don't miss it like that.
Sure.
I think being able to just dip in whenever you want, to see the people that you used to see, and to get a taste and then take yourself out. I think that suits me now.
Yeah.
But to digress, it was lovely to see you there.
It was amazing.
But yeah, I used to see you these guys all the time, and ADE was interesting for me because I wasn't drinking, didn't party. I was doing it sober when I saw you. Well, I was recording some content for another business actually, and
just to go back to that, when you were DJing, did you ever do it sober, or were you just every time?
I did
on the drink.
I did. I did one stint in Australia. When I did Australia, because every time I go to Australia, New Zealand, Bali, there's so much traveling, the long haul flights. I remember just coming back from tour and going, the thought of having to go on like a 40-hour journey now to get back from like miles away to Melbourne to Dubai, whatever. It's a brutal. But I want to talk to you about that, because obviously that's what you're doing a lot at the moment. But I did 6 weeks sober, right? And then I got to New Zealand and I got to Queenstown, and I was playing. It was the best show of the tour, and I got in and it was vibing to the point, like, I'll fast forward. At the end of the gig, people were crawling the walls, tops off, swinging like you'd see like old 90s rave videos. And anyway, it was like half an hour before the end of my set, and I was like, my rider was there. I went, give me that fucking Patron. And I was just smashing it in, pouring it people's mouths in the crowd. And then I went home and did that 40-hour journey again, absolutely knackered. So I did it once.
You tried.
I tried, but for me, the temptation was too strong. Anyway, we're digressing quite a lot. Lloyd, welcome.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, no, really good to have you. You guys haven't met before.
No, this is the first time. It was funny before, because when we was outside with the previous guest, you was like, yeah, Lloyd's just here now. Yeah, there he is. And I was like, where? And then I went, oh yeah, he's there.
You can't be
Good to have you.
We always like to kind of start the show with a little bit about you and your journey into music, because obviously that's how we know each other.
Sure.
And I think I met you in like 2016, maybe
something like that. Yeah,
being back at Paris's after party.
I've been after party in Ibiza somewhere.
Big up Paris.
Shout out to Paris.
Yeah, but so tell us a little bit about your journey into music. What does that look like?
It's a long journey, mate.
Yeah.
How long have we got?
Yeah, we've got as long as you want, but I know you've got to get out. So let's be quick.
So basically, I started really in Leeds. I was doing a lot of modelling in Manchester and Leeds, and I just knew a lot of people, so I just started putting parties on.
What year was this? How old were you?
Just like 24, 25. This had been around 2006, maybe, something like that, 2007. I started doing parties in Leeds, and from that, I then got an opportunity to go to Ibiza and work with Manumission.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, that was my first dip into Ibiza, which was 2008.
That's one party which I obviously heard so much about and seen.
Oh, it was everything you've heard and more.
Really?
Yeah, it was out there. So I got this opportunity to just leave England and go to Ibiza for, I think it was 5-6 months. But at the time, everything I had going on in England, they basically said it would be done with, and I would have to kind of like, I had nothing to come back to, basically, if I left everything.
You were cutting ties.
Yeah. So I just thought, fuck it. Let's just do it. And I just went, and it was just incredible. It was my first trip to Ibiza.
Yeah.
I was working with Mike and Claire at Manumission. We had the show was every Friday night. We were actually in the show because every party they had a theatrical show.
Okay.
So we were paid to be in the show.
Oh.
There's like with the dancers and a few other models, and that was that bit. That was it really.
Wow. So then that takes us to what year then?
So that takes us. We did one whole year there. Then I went back to Manchester and set a party up called Candy Pants, which was like more of an R&B party.
Yeah.
That went on, and then I was like kind of like dipping in and out of Ibiza throughout those years, and then the DJing started up. So I was DJing in Ibiza as well then, and we had a party called Paravana and a party called Swankies, which were very big parties back in the day.
Yeah.
So they were growing at the same time. So we did those parties in Ibiza as well, and then that kind of takes us up to COVID, because what I did then, I set up a festival fashion company selling festival clothing.
Okay.
So I did that for like 3-4 years, and then COVID hit.
Right.
So when COVID hit, that business went down the pan.
Because there's no festivals.
No festivals.
Right, okay.
All the DJing work had gone. At the time, I was living in Bali, so...
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was living in Bali at the time. I'd moved to Bali for a year to DJ and to get the clothes made. So I got to Bali, and then everything just kind of stopped.
And Bali really locked down as well, didn't it?
My goodness.
It was
Bali
one of the last places to reopen, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Bali, it was harsh out there, and I just rented out a long lease on a villa. So all my people who were renting there, they left, and it just left me in the shit, basically.
Really?
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrendous. But fast forward to Defected, if that hadn't have happened, there's no way I'd be at Defected now. So that was actually a blessing in disguise, I guess. Because basically what I did then inside, nothing left. So I went back to my mum's house in Bolton, because there was no way to earn any income.
Yeah.
So I went back to my mum's in Bolton, and then from there, went through probably 6 months to a year of just hell.
Yeah.
Obviously nothing was coming in, and there was no... Because at that time, we didn't know what was going next, did we? We didn't really know. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. We didn't know. Yeah. So then I just really had to start going over my whole life again. I felt like I'd come full circle because I was back at my mum's house.
Yeah.
At my age, I was like, what's going on, kind of thing. And then I just got really lucky. I decided to take control of my life. I decided to, the things I could change and work on, I did. So I made sure I was working out every single day. I spoke to my old modelling agent, who started to get me some castings and online auditions, as you call it, and I got a big job for Gillette, and that was like a decent paying job that managed to get me back to London. And then from there,
When was that in 2020? What was it after COVID?
Just
obviously,
as COVID was kind of ending, I moved back to London.
Okay.
And then what happened is it was a funny period where clubs weren't open, but the restaurants were, and they were kind of having parties in restaurants. It was all a bit weird.
Yeah, if you had a table and...
I remember, if you were sat
no
down,
dancing.
It was so weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fucked.
No dancing.
No dancing. Yeah, it's like,
sit down.
you had to put a mask on to go toilet. It was just all weird, wasn't it? So it was at that period, and I just basically asked friends. I said, do you know anyone who can get DJ work? And then that led me to reaching out to someone who I didn't really know that well at the time. It was George Pritchard. George Pritchard was one of the directors at Defected, and he knew a lot of people who were putting these parties on in restaurants. And then he just directed me to a few of these different restaurants and just helped me out of the blue, really. And it just, I kind of started booking different DJs to cover me the ones I couldn't do.
Right. Okay.
And before you know it, this kind of like bookings kind of grew and grew and grew. And then Orange Yard, and E1, the nightclub, got in touch with me and were like, we need help with the bookings. We're back in action now. So I joined E1 and started working with them. And all the while, George had been watching from the distance. And he just came along and said, if there's ever an opportunity Defected, I'll let you know. And I just marvelled him. Just marvelled him every week. Messaged him and said, any jobs going yet, mate? Any jobs going yet? I was kept marvelling him until you're sick of me one day, I think. You think, I've sorted you out, I've got you something.
What was I saying on the way in here? What did I say? Go on. What was I saying? Do you remember?
Well, we were talking about it with the previous guest as well. Just
Shyburns getting out.
Shyburns getting out, which is a northern term.
Nothing. Persistence is key.
It's key.
Yeah.
It's
be present. Be in their face.
Be there.
Yeah.
Be seen. Be in the window. Be in the shop window. You know. And if you're good enough and you've got the capabilities, and even if you're not, sometimes, even if you've got the potential to do it, you'll always get an opportunity. And George gave me the opportunity.
And when was that? When did you join the Defected?
Just 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, at the time I was with E1. I was on actually more money at E1 than what Defected offered at that time. But I knew there was more scope at Defected, so I joined on 2 days. It was 2 days a week I joined on.
Oh wow!
And I was working on a brand we had called Sondela, which was an Afro house brand. I helped with that to start with.
Yeah.
We did shows in Dubai and Ibiza, and then I got moved to D for Dance, and I started working 3 days as a consultant. D for Dance is more a commercial side, so you've Defected, you have Glitterbox, which is more disco, you have the classic music, which Luke Solomon does. We own that as well. Yeah, which is kind of the cooler, the Derek Carter, the Honey Dijon kind of stuff, and we have D for Dance as well, which is more the commercial side of things. So I was working on that. And then eventually I came into Defected and started working in it all, and then I'm just started working on all the America shows now, so I'm kind of leading with that alongside George with all our America shows. So next week I'm in New York and Chicago and San Diego, so it's grown really quickly, man. But it's a lot of lessons along the way, you know, a lot of hard work.
Yeah. You know, when you were talking about going full circle, being back at your mum's, I had a very similar situation where I was back at my mother-in-law's. Yeah. We moved back to save the money for my tours in South America and Australia. I was going back on tour on the 28th of March. You know, we locked down the 22nd of March. Ben, my agent, said, it's all right, we'll pop...
Ben King doing all well.
King, yeah. We'll pop your gigs back 3 months. So we'll just rebook your flights. So I cancelled the flights, claimed off my insurance, booked more flights, right? Hadn't got the insurance money back. So I basically paid out again, because you're landed shows, right? When you go away. So I booked the flights, and obviously we all just thought it was going to be, what you were saying before, we all thought, we didn't know how long it was going to last. Was it 3 months? Was it 6 months? But we're like, we'll just put it back 3 months. But I had that same emotion where I was back at my mother-in-law's. No offense, Helen, you were great. I had money on credit cards. Yep. And I didn't know what was going to come next. I didn't know what I was going to pivot to, because I put all my life into this one industry.
Of course.
But I now sat here with you boys. I'm telling you, it was a blessing in disguise, because if I hadn't had that pivotal dynamic shift in my environment, I wouldn't be sat here with you boys. I don't know where I would be right now. And same for you. You were sat here with your mums, but you look where you are now, man.
Yeah, sometimes I think you have got to take a step back to go 2 steps forward sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay. A lot of people are questioning themselves in life and thinking, oh, I'm not where I should be. But listen, you don't compare yourself to anyone else. It's your journey. Your journey is your journey. Your journey is your journey. My journey is my journey, you know? You never know what's around the corner. You just got to keep pushing hard. And to be honest, I had a great time in my 20s, partying. I did some of the most amazing things. But to me, my life's been backwards. A lot of people work harder than 20. I know this is my time to work hard, focus, lock in, and do all the things that I kind of didn't do in my 20s because I was fucking about.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that's part of the journey to bring you back full circle to George and to Defected, because you were in those circles. We met each other in the parties in Ibiza.
100%.
So all those contacts you made.
And it's helped a lot.
It helped a lot where you are now.
It has. It's helped massively.
Absolutely. And what we were saying about comparison there, comparison's a thief of joy.
Oh, it's the worst.
I used to do it all the time. I used to look at other people and go, how's he got that gig? That's how I used to look at it. And I look back now, I don't mind saying it. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not in the industry anymore. But I look and go, how is that person playing that gig? Why were they all further up the lineup than me?
He's shit.
Yeah, it obviously wasn't. They're fucking grafting their ass off. But that was my immature mind in the very early days of my career. And I look back now and I do feel ashamed of that. But it was part of my learning journey.
It's social media as well. Social media puts it on your face. You're only seeing people's highlights at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, we can all make a life out of a life. You put in one picture from that day or one small video from that day. You just see people's highlight reels.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like don't even look at that anymore. Just focus on myself, my own journey, you know?
It's the 30-second, I always say this, it's the 30-second clip that everyone sees, the punters see on your Instagram, but they don't see everything else that goes behind the scenes. They can't. You can't physically put all of that stuff on unless you've got a videographer following you around 24/7, seeing you in airports on your own at 4 a.m, knackered, going straight to work when you get somewhere else, you know?
I don't think people realise how difficult it is to touring as a DJ, obviously you guys will know inside out, but I get to see it firsthand, and it's so difficult. And people don't earn as much money as you think they earn as well. When you take management and agency and withholding tax, which people don't even mention, every country you're touring, they take their tax off the top, you know? Yeah, it gets skimmed, and then you got to pay tax. Sometimes, and you're paying your own hotels, you're paying your own flights.
Well, when I started, there was a lot of plus gigs kicking around. Plus, for people don't know, is you get your fee, and everything on top is paid. So if your fees are grand, the management fee will actually comes out your end, but the booking fee is on top. So if it's grand, it's 20%. It's 1,200 quid to that promoter. But as time went on, it all landed shows. So if you get paid $2,000, everything comes out your end: the withhold tax, the management fee, the agency fee, your hotels, your travel, or they might give you 50 quid for a train.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everything comes out. So you might end up with like 30% of what you're actually getting paid on paper.
Easy. I mean, if you look at someone who's, let's say, earning $2,000, let's just say, for a gig somewhere in Europe, 25% is taken off the top straight away. And then you've got your agency, which is probably 15%. Then your management might be 15, 20%. And then you've paid your flights, and you're not left with a lot. Yeah. So it's a lot of pressure as well, you know, and you're tired a lot, and it's a difficult life.
You're in this side of the business now, Lloyd. So I'm actually interested to ask you about this in terms of fees. Yeah. I've had conversations with so many people, whether it be artists, whether it be booking agents or managers. And then also promoters who are very angry about this. But
they're fuming.
Yeah.
Livid.
But as time has gone on since COVID, everyone just whinges about the cost of DJs and the cost of artists. Agents just taking the piss, let's be honest. What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are there is a lot of elevated fees out there. I don't think it'll last. I think it has to come full circle, you know? I think you'll see an uprising of younger DJs, cheaper DJs who start making cooler music, good music. I think you'll hear new sounds. I think we know music always comes in circles. So this little stage, this little bubble we're in now of it's all the big shows and the club shows are suffering. It's not going to last. Yeah. It can't do. But it's our jobs to be ahead of the curve really and see that coming. So I mean, at Defected, I know we're going to start looking at more club shows and stuff like that. Yeah. Because a lot of the shows now is just big or nothing, and people haven't got the money to go to the club shows anymore. Yeah. They'd rather save the money and do 2 days in Ibiza and blow it all there. Or a big show elsewhere. So we are. I know ourselves. We are looking at more club shows and giving back to the communities more and making sure that other people who can't really afford to go to these big shows, they can have a place to go and enjoy themselves and play a Defected show.
That's good. I really like that because I spoke to George Fleming from Save Our Scene.
Oh, George.
Yeah, George, he was great, and what he's doing is incredible in terms of...
He's amazing, man.
Do you know about George Fleming? No. Save Our Scene, it's basically a movement to try and help the grassroots venues. And one interesting post he did, everyone who follows Save the Scene will have seen this, but I think he posted the Glastonbury artwork and said if everyone in this artwork has... Sorry, I'm getting this wrong.
Come on, Jacky.
I've got this. Basically, it was an empty flyer. So they had the flyer and then they had basically like 4 or 5 acts on there. And every one of those artists that's been removed started at a grassroots venue. And all the grassroots venues are getting wiped out. So basically, there was literally 80% of the artists weren't on there, but it's because they started in like a 200 cap venue, and a 400 cap venue, in a bar, in a small club, an intimate venue.
But that's how you learn to DJ, surely.
Of course. How else are you supposed to go from bedroom to like a Defected festival sort of thing? You know, there's a huge, that's obviously a massive exaggeration, but do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like these big parties where they've got like 15 headliners on. Where's the in-between bit? It's getting lost a little bit.
It is getting lost a little bit, but I think that's why the real skill of a DJ is learn at those club shows and playing to 100 and 150 people. How can I keep that room, even though it's only a small room, how do I keep it? That's how you learn. So Absolutely. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, at the moment, I know a lot of DJs just play banger after banger after banger. That whole concept of a DJ taking you kind of on a journey a little bit and taking it high, bringing it down a little bit for a future, it's kind of gone a lot because it's just banger after banger after banger, and it's pressure because of the TikTok generation, you know, they just got 15-second hits.
You spoke about someone who you've seen recently who takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Well,
all the time.
Yeah, he was on the...
For years.
He was on the show.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was on the show. First guest after us, wasn't it? Roger Sanchez.
Roger Sanchez, he's brilliant.
We had a really... He's on at D for Dance, isn't he? On the 22nd.
We've got him at D4. We've had him in Croatia. We had him was with him in Miami.
Yeah.
He was in Miami recently.
Was it
He's a DJ. He's a great DJ, and he's still playing now. You know,
It's coming. It'll be 4 decades coming up soon. But
amazing,
we were talking about it, and you'll know, Lloyd, because you're from kind of my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Born in Bury, around the corner from Bolton, but lived in Manchester, and you'll remember them back in the day. And for me and my missus, we were clubbing from 1998, 1999 onwards.
Yep.
So in Manchester, you had Too Risque at North.
Oh, Too Risque.
Remember?
Oh, yeah, Too Risque.
I knew it. Definitely.
shout.
Too Risque with Rob Orward and Fitz, all them guys. And you remember what a following that night had. The funky house scene was really growing.
Ampersand as well.
And Ampersand, yeah. So
this episode is sponsored by Digital Ibiza Rentals, the go-to crew for all your needs in Ibiza. Digital have been the lead concierge service in Ibiza since 2016, and there's a pretty good reason for that too. It's not because they have lovely hair or because they're well-mannered lads. Actually, why are they the best?
It's in the script. They're paying us to say that.
Oh, awkward. Anyway, listen, if you go into Ibiza and you need yachts, villas, private transfers, car hire, club tickets, guest list, or even helicopters, Digital has you covered. And these guys specialise in DJ equipment and sound systems. Listeners of this show get 20% off their first use of the service. Just quote BearChat on checkout and get 20% off. So head over to their Instagram at Digital Ibiza Rentals or to their website, digitalibiza-rentals.com, and quote BearChat to get 20% off. By the way, invites to villa parties are welcomed. Nice one.
So Pat Drury and who's the other DJ? I forget. Alan Hartley.
Yeah.
They were DJs down there, and obviously Sankeys. But we were talking about now our age, obviously 44, but this whole Croatia and festivals and Defected are on it, and these big festivals, and the younger generation now with mobile phones and screens and all the rest of it, the festival scene really kicked off. Now we always talk about it and we say, well, obviously that's the way the scene's going, but do you know what we've noticed? What's been missing is that back in the day, that it was all about the community, and being in a club, intimate vibe with the DJ playing. Not many phones, and everybody and everywhere you went, when I went to Ibiza and I was at Manumission, it'd be in the toilet, someone would go, "Oh, where you from, mate? I can hear your accent. I'm from Leeds." And then I'd go, "Oh yeah, Glass House or Stinky's Peep House." And they'd be like, "Stinky's."
Oh, Stinky's.
Stinky's.
I got my first out of Newcastle gig at Stinky's at like 5 in the morning for like 45 minutes. I think I sold about 25 tickets to get a gig there. Stinky's was sick.
So Manchester was Stinky's. So everyone would recognise each other by accent and then club.
Yeah.
Whereas that element's gone on. But I agree with what you're saying, Lloyd. I think everything's going to come full circle.
I do believe it's going to come full circle. I think you're going to see a lot of venues now. I've already seen it, like banning phones.
Yeah. Lazarus has stopped that recently.
The stickers as well.
Yeah.
Like, the stickers is a start, but like banning phones completely, like put them in a locker or something.
I don't know how it actually works. I guess if you see them with a phone and they'll take it off, they'll kick you out, I guess.
Yeah, well, Lazarus is Black Coffee at the back room is Damien Lazarus. And they've done it very recently. Where there's no mobile phones. And I know when I've been to Berlin, which I think is super cool, they just put stickers on your cameras. And if you see,
Berghain, don't they?
Yeah, Berghain.
If you see, majority of the clubs in Berlin, no.
I went on a first date to Berghain once.
Right, straight in the deep end.
I was in there 18 hours.
Dark room at the back. Yeah, no, but I agree with you with that one. I think it's going to come full circle.
Sure.
And I know from obviously following DJs and house music over the decades, and I think the D for dance stuff, particularly that I've noticed, is on at Ocean, because I live in Ibiza now. One of my friends works there, and the lineup and the roster of DJs and stuff, Sandy Rivera, Roger Sanchez.
So that was me and Wes.
Wicked.
We curated that lineup. I mean, Wes obviously is the new CEO at Defected.
Right.
Big up Wes.
Yeah, big up Wes. He's a good man. We put that together. So what we tried to do is, obviously we had offers to go take D for dance to other places. Obviously with O Beach, there was no other really like named DJs playing there weekly.
Yeah.
So we saw a bit of an opportunity to put DJs on in there, with a bit of a following. So we put likes of Orden and Fatso in there, Route 94, Roger Sanchez, Todd Terry. And then it's worked. He's doing really well over there.
When did you start that? You just this year?
Last year.
Oh, last
summer was the first one. Was the first one.
Okay.
I think Roger did the closing, if I'm not mistaken.
Put Roger on the closing, yeah.
And he's on fire at the minute. Todd Terry's smashing it at the minute. My missus seen him at Hacienda party up in Leeds. A few months back, and she said he absolutely smashed it, like nailed it. So I agree. I think it's a really good idea, and I know from what I've seen and what I'm hearing with people in them kind of circles who like that kind of sound. But I think that you're exactly right. With O Beach, that's kind of what we're just missing a little bit with some of the bigger named artists.
Yeah,
and these guys go back decades, and the tunes they're pulling out, like Roger's Again track now, is doing the rounds everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put the newer artists in there, like we had Enzo is Burning last week, with more of the heritage acts, so people can get, you know what I mean, the original DJs like Roger and Todd. So it's a lovely project. I love working on it, and I'm very blessed to be a part of that.
Right, it's great to see you like thriving in this industry, like big time. And I've been watching from afar, man. It's really good to see. In terms of that, your lifestyle on the road, a couple of things on that. So, are you still DJing here and there? You do
still DJ
the default stuff, don't you? Right?
I still DJ here and there. I play. I've got other side things going on as well. I've got like a little agency on the side as well, which I do. So I DJ like once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. Okay. Different members. I play more the members club scene. Yeah. And then I'll play the occasional big show. So I'll play for Deeper Dance. I'll play a couple of Matt play the Defected Malta Festival. I'll be there playing. I played Night 3 Feet East recently.
So you're still toeing the water a little bit.
Exactly, but I can't do it. I wouldn't want to be honest. I'm under that much pressure. I'm in the office 5 days a week pretty much now, and it's long days. I take work home. I'm working until late at night, so to balance DJing in there as well with having a girlfriend, with having home life, with seeing family, with being on the road so much, it's difficult to do it, you know. But I do love to DJ simply because it keeps my ear to the ground with new music and it keeps me active. I don't want to get lazy with that.
You've got to be.
I've got to know which artists are coming up, which are the new tunes, so it's a good way for me to practice that and also get a bit of money on the side.
Yeah. Let's be honest. But you're still kind of doing the tour life because you're traveling quite a lot. I wanted to ask you about that. How are you getting on with that?
It's hard, mate. It really is hard. I mean, it is harder doing what I'm doing, touring, I would say, than DJing, simply because if it's a Defected show, I'm there from the start of the show to the finish of the show.
Sober?
No. Sometimes it depends how tired I am. I mean, if I did this job now when I was 24,
carnage,
mate. I have to have a carnage, mate.
I know that, Lloyd.
Oh my goodness. This has come at the right time in my life, you know, because that's kind of like the last chapter of my life. I'm on a different stage in my life now, you know. So when I'm doing these shows, when I'm doing touring, I make sure I take care of myself. So in the week, I do intermittent fasting, making sure I train every single day. I'm making sure I'm mentally in the right space. If someone's trying to drag me to an after party, unless it's something amazing, I ain't going.
No.
Unless someone tells me it's Jamie Jones back to back with Marco Crowell or Martinez was in the middle of a jungle with mermaids everywhere, I ain't going.
When's that happening? I don't go to parties anymore, but I'm coming to that.
You're coming to that one, are you?
Little mermaid there in the background, moonwalking.
There's a little dance for you. But you know what I mean? Because I've done so many parties, it has to be something special for me to sacrifice my sleep and my wellness, because that's what it does. So now I'm quite disciplined. Still do long nights. I mean, like I was in Lisbon 2-3 weeks ago. Got there at 6 o'clock, left at 4 a.m. It's a long shift, you know. And it's also quite taxing because you're representing the brand. If it was my own party, probably not as bothered because it's Defected, and Defected has got such a name and such a following. If I'm in Lisbon pretty much on my own or with one other person, I'm representing that brand, and that's kind of on your shoulders a little bit.
Big responsibility.
So when people coming over talking, say, "Oh, big fan of Defected," you've got to give them that energy, and you've got to let them know, you know, and
be present.
Be present, have a smile on your face, and engage with people, and that can get tiring. I love it, but you know what I mean. It can get. It's not an easy job to do, you know. And obviously, you're making sure the DJs are good. You're making sure all the parties running smoothly, the lighting's right.
I was just telling you this about before, like exactly what Lloyd would be doing at a party, like what it looks like. You're doing everything.
You're doing everything.
You're literally doing everything.
You're doing everything. The Ibiza shows are a little bit different because of the residencies. they know exactly what they're doing,
Yeah.
and it kind of runs itself. It does. We've got to show our face, make sure. But the shows where we're working with a new promoter, especially, there's little touches that Defected do that have to be done right, and that's what you're there to do.
Yeah,
you're constantly looking, you constantly listen to what the DJ is playing, and also as a booker as well, you're listening to the DJ to see how they're playing. If it's a new DJ with trying it Defected, is it working with a Defected crowd? So you're constantly on the ball. You know what I mean? So it does get quite taxing.
Yeah. Did you make a conscious decision to focus on your health and your wellness and your intermittent fasting, your diet and your sleep, and or like in terms of like the word sobriety gets thrown around quite a lot? But would you say you're the majority of the time sober, or are you? No,
I just have a cut off.
You just cut. Okay.
I can just cut
limits,
off, and I've got my limits,
boundaries. Yeah.
I've literally I set limits and I set boundaries, and that works for me.
Okay.
Like I was at my friend's 40th this weekend in Portugal, and they've not seen me for years.
Yeah.
They're all shocked. Like, you're drinking coffee? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? So I don't give a shit. Like,
Well,
I don't need to be that way. I can cut myself off, and they're like, I couldn't do that. But I can, so I do. So like I will literally on a night out now, I'll say 1:30 I'm going home, no matter what, and I'll leave. When I'm drinking now, make sure I'm drinking water. I'm making sure I'm in a fit state to be able to go to the gym the next day, because that's a big thing for me. Working out and training. I've always used that as kind of like a barometer to where my life is. If I can't train, if I've not gone to the gym, let's say for 2 weeks,
that's a long time.
It's a long time. But let's just say that happened. I know my life would be going out of balance. Yeah. So I'd always use the gym. If I went to the gym 1 day a week, I know my life's going a bit that way. So I've always used it as a way to keep me down the straight and narrow. Yeah. So I've always, even in my wild party days, because I came from modelling back in the day, taking care of myself was still always there. So that kind of helped me kind of navigate my way through it.
Yeah, I was going to say that you always, if you don't mind me saying, Lloyd, you've always been in very good shape.
Oh,
I always admired that.
Yeah, like you.
But I wondered if you carry that through prior to COVID, because for me, I didn't have that mentality. I was just party after.
Sure.
Where's the crack on at all times?
So for me, honestly, when I was younger, I did training because I was just vain. I was just vain, and I was getting attention.
But you're
from
a model,
girls.
bro.
Yeah, I was
you're
a model.
Fucking good lad. Come on.
I was going to say,
give him it.
Signed to Gillette and Range Rover. Me and you be on there. Greg's past the adverts.
Past the adverts, Greg's.
How fit do you have to be a model? Because I reckon
Gotta be fit.
You got to be.
You'd be all right now. You could do it easy.
Yeah.
Look at you.
The ladies have just got whistle, and you've just got to tense every now and then.
Tense now and again.
Gillette have
shows your look. Shows your blue steel.
But I can tense. I'm good at tensing. I've done a few tenses.
Tensing.
Tensing.
Clever, mate. The man's a marketing genius.
Tensing.
Sorry, crack on.
That's what we were saying. Yes, back then it was more of just more being vain, I guess, and being young and wanting to get attention.
But you still did it, though. You still did it. You made sure you went.
It helped a lot. It stopped me from losing my mind most of the time, because no matter what happens, I would still go to the gym on a Monday. Someone always told me when I was younger, always go to the gym on a Monday.
Yeah.
Simply because if you go on a Monday, you don't even need to go Tuesday, you don't need to go Wednesday, you don't need to go even Thursday. You can do Friday, Saturday, Sunday and still do a 4-day week. Just because you got that 1 day in a Monday. And I've always carried that through my life. So no matter what happened, no matter what party I ever went to, I'd always go on a Monday just because of that reason. So
I like that. I've never heard that before. I've actually never heard that.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just always stuck with me.
Stuck.
Yeah, so I always go on a Monday. You start your week with the right intention, positive mindset, and just go. That's how you start your week, So, because if you don't go on a Monday, sometimes Tuesday might be too busy, and then I've not been this week.
Yeah, of course.
So that was always important to me. But now my mindset is I do it for my wellness. I just do it to be healthy and look after myself. You know, my body isn't what it used to be anymore. I've got fucking backache all the time.
Yeah.
So I do it for myself now, to look after myself, and I'm enjoying it a lot more because of that.
Yeah. I feel there was a huge shift after the lockdowns when people had to stop and reflect, look in the mirror and go, literally look in the mirror and be like, I don't like what I'm seeing.
100%.
That's how I look.
That's the same as me.
When you think about it as a DJ or a promoter or being involved in the music industry as a whole, everything stopped.
Everything stopped.
Everybody, normally it's touring, lining gigs up, getting stuff organised. Imagine how much you don't stop now, as an example, but then all of a sudden just stopping, then you've got the space to actually analyse and look and think, whereas normally, and that's kind of similar to what happened in your story, Jacky, really, that you wouldn't have had that moment.
Never.
Because you'd have been gigging.
So
You'd been in Australia, then Argentina or whatever, and away from Eleanor, and your circle would have continued. But Lloyd just said it there, which I noticed as well when he said about the after party, and he said, for me, which is key, for me, I need to be in the gym. So he's thinking about himself.
Yeah.
And in your moment, you know, the music industry and DJs and everything that they do, you know, it's amazing. But for you, during COVID, for you personally, you just made a decision and you said, actually, it's not for me.
Yeah.
So you thought about you. So it's interesting that kind of thing happened during COVID as well. Because you can think about it.
I never had a minute to stop.
Bleep that COVID out.
When I did
You
stop,
go for days, that's why.
Yeah, I just cracked on. But then it would be Tuesday by the time I'd actually Wednesday, I kind of got myself back to 11 playing field. Then I sorted my tunes out on Thursday. And then
You're
I'm back at the airport on Friday morning. So it was like, you literally never stop. So yeah, listening to what you're doing now doesn't give me anxiety, but like I looking back, I don't know if I could. You actually asked me this question on the first episode. You went,
Yeah, I did.
if you had this, this outlook on life now, would you think you would do it differently? And I think I fucking would.
Oh, you 100% you could tell you would.
I treat it like a business. I
Yeah.
think I treat it like a music business and not just as a fucking laugh. I literally just had fun.
Yeah.
When I got my Defected release, I took such a step back and just thought I can cruise now. And I did. But it only lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of died.
It's kind of like what Lloyd was saying before. He'd done it all, and Chapter and Verse previously said the
Just
same
said,
thing.
yeah.
Done it all in
Oh,
my
mate, I went
20s.
to
I've
some
got the
wild parties.
T-shirt. I don't
Crazy
really
ones.
want to do it anymore. And I find it's kind of at this stage in life,
Yep.
you know, where somebody asked a question recently about, is it an age thing, or is it just that people make a certain decision? But I find at this time, because I'm 44 now as well, you do start to think differently. And if you've been there, I've been partying for years as well, and had some amazing times. But that shift does actually naturally happen, which got me thinking, Lloyd, as well. Obviously, you lived out in Bali and you were doing events out there, and at that Omnia where you played
Omnia,
as
yeah.
well, unbelievable
Amazing.
venue.
Oh, yeah. What's that like?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. It's called Savaya now. We actually
Yeah.
do our Defected and Glitterbox shows there, which
Okay.
is incredible.
Well, they do shows there as well at that
Yeah, they do
venue.
big
Wow.
shows there. Yeah, Black Coffee's played there. Yeah, it's an amazing venue. So I played there. That was incredible. Bali's got some really good venues, and it's got a really good music scene.
Yeah.
It used to just be kind of a stopover for people going into Australia touring. They would stop over in Bali and play. But now it's actually becoming more of a destination spot. Yeah, it's a good place.
So you strike me as somebody then. Would I be right in saying that you're pretty spiritual, like connected? To
I believe in a higher power, and I
Higher
believe,
power,
I believe in a
okay.
higher power. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but I do definitely believe in a higher power, and taking care of yourself. And another saying I've always had is, even though I'm not religious, everyone you meet is Jesus in disguise, in the sense that you can learn something from everyone, and I try and treat everybody the same, you know. And life's kind of a lesson, isn't it? You know, and it's you're the main star of your own story, you know.
Yeah.
Try and enjoy it best I can.
Yeah, it's right. So, you know, when you left Bali and you went back to your mum's and you said you'd come full circle, that period, I imagine, was pretty intense for you. A lot of questions going on in your mind.
Oh, my God. It was
Take us back to that moment when
So
you got
that-
back to your mum's and would you see yourself, were you at a date Defected? Like, is that something that you've seen, or was that not even anywhere near?
Because at that time it was such a dark time. Also, my dad passed away at the same time as well.
Sorry to
So
hear that.
I was going through that as well at that time. And no, I didn't see any way out, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't see any way out. All I know is that one day I decided that I was going to do something, and I wasn't sure what. And I've kind of realised that you don't need to see the end of it.
Yeah.
You just need to see your next step. You know what I mean? If you're building a wall, you don't need to visualize the whole wall. It's just that first brick, and you make sure that first brick's perfect, and then you put the next brick, and then you make sure that one's perfect, and before you know it, there is a wall there. You know what I mean? So that was my first thing, was to call my own modelling agent to get me out of the house, try and get me some work, and that started a domino effect, which ultimately led to Defected, because that got me back to London. You know, I'm meeting George, who's I'll tell you, I feel like he almost like he was a lifesaver. You know. He opened so many doors for me and helped so much. So I'll never be able to repay that man. So yeah, he's
But
the man.
you kept messaging and ringing about a job. Is there anything available, or didn't you?
Yeah, you had to. You got to keep going.
Grafting.
Got to keep going.
Yeah, it's right.
And you don't feel stupid about it. The other thing I realised in COVID is I'd never ever asked for help before. I had such a lot of ego about myself, and I never asked for help. I'd never even asked for a DJ gig before. And
Why? Is there a reason?
I think it's just ego.
Yeah.
I think it's just get lost up in yourself. Pride and ego. Not wanting to ask for help. And that was one of the big realizations. I've never asked anyone for help, because I've kind of always been seen as doing okay for myself or doing this and doing that. I've never asked for it. So when I got back to London, the first thing I decided to do was ask for help, which was so random. I knew I needed to get some more work in, so I needed to DJ a little more. So I found a friend of mine called Siggy who was at the time DJing a lot in around London. I just asked her, I went, I need some help here. Do you know anyone who can help? And then she was the one who led me on to George. And then kind of took from there and asked George for help. I said, listen, George, if anything comes, let me know kind of thing. And asked him for help again the following week, and the following week, and the following week, and the following week.
Didn't give in, yeah.
And then, eventually, he didn't give in. I'm bloody good at my job. But I ground him down.
Keep going.
Gotta keep going, yeah. So, that was a big lesson. Ask for help. If you're not if you're not in where you want to be or you're not happy, ask someone for help, because the chances are, if you reach out to people, they will help you, or they will at least maybe point you in the right direction. They can't help you directly, so yeah.
Wow, that's,
I know I don't mind asking for people. If I'm stuck with something, I'll just ask someone.
He's crazy, because I'm from Bury and he's from Bolton, Lloyd, and obviously we met today, like literally 2 towns that close together. And it's similar for me. I lost my dad during COVID. Right. It was a dark time and stuff. And I'm 44 now, and I was 41. I was 41 when I first asked for help.
Same, bro.
So I get 100%.
There we go, mate.
What you say.
Asking for help,
honestly, yeah, you're right, man.
What made you then? What was the?
I hit a rock bottom, a dark place. So we talked about it, brushed over it on the first show. But for me, I was living in Ibiza. Had a previous business with my business partner, successful business, a place in Ibiza, sea view, nice car, go on holidays, all that. I had all that, and it wasn't enough. I was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of turmoil. I didn't speak to anybody about my dad. Detailed level. I didn't ask for any help. I'd never asked for help. Same, I was always independent. I had to do it my way, that way, that if I did it my way and I let myself down, I'm only hurting myself. I'm all right. If other people let me down, it kind of hurt me as a kid. I didn't like it. So when you said that, honestly, I felt weak asking for help, or I felt like I wasn't good enough. I was a failure. And when I asked for help, the irony is, it's a real, paradoxical point. The real strength is asking for help. And what an example, doing that and where you are now. Yeah. So relatable, man. Wicked, really.
It might be a northern thing. Northern mentality. We don't ask for help, do we?
No. The Beatles were singing about it.
Not for me, mate. Not for me.
Liam Gallagher's like, what you on about? You don't ask for help around here, mate. Just do it. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing to hear, though, back as well,
Yeah, no, big time. I relate to it, and what you were saying there really powerful, because it's true, man. All we've got to do is just help each other and ask for help. Like you said, look where it's got you.
Sure.
And for me, when I asked for help, my life changed.
Sure.
Instantly changed and got me to where I'm sat today. And the same thing, had I have not asked for help, I definitely wouldn't be sat here. I can guarantee that.
Really?
100% I would not be here. I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
Physically, potentially. Yeah. So yeah, really, 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 really poignant point there made by Lloyd, and something that, hopefully other people can see and listen to this.
Definitely.
And they need help, ask for it.
This is the reason about this. This is one of the reasons we wanted to start this project, and the reason for the name Bare Chat, bare meaning kind of letting those barriers down, being vulnerable, being naked in a conversational setting. I feel like those 2 stories are perfect examples of, opportunities that you've took to let those barriers down and ask for help and reach out.
Yeah.
It's optics. It's optics that people don't like. People don't want to be seen as weak, or don't want to be seen as vulnerable, and there's nothing wrong with it.
And no one cares either. All I've got is realise that no one really cares.
No, everyone's so wrapped up in their own bullshit.
100%.
That no one gives a fuck about what
gives a shit.
Instagram and showing the life and this, that. And I've noticed because I obviously before this conversation I had to do a bit of research, because I'd not met you before, Lloyd, and I was like, okay. And obviously I knew there were links there with Paris, who I know really well, is super good mate of mine, and again round the corner from me in Manchester, but we were never friends in Manchester. It was in Ibiza. So I know, based on your social media presence, because you're so busy with what you're doing in your projects now, which is brilliant, you don't really do a lot of social media kind of stuff.
So that's the other thing as
you're just doing your own thing.
Which is the weird thing. So when I was, I'd say, less successful, I posted all the time because I'm looking for gratification from someone. I'm looking for a reward from somewhere, if it like, comment. I don't give a shit anymore about it. I really don't. I mean, I'm so wrapped up in working with people and traveling and dealing with agents, I don't have that pressure anymore to have to try and do content. It doesn't
external
gratification.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's good.
I don't need it anymore. It's like if something comes into my head where I need social media to do what I'm doing, that would change. But right now, I don't need it, so I don't need that gratification.
Well, yeah, that's why I asked you that question, Lloyd, because
It's so funny you picked up on that because I used to post all the time.
Yeah. Well, I've been off social media now for 2.5 years, and I've just gone back on because of this project, which is why
he's back, baby.
He's back. Better than ever.
I don't know how
my goodness, better than ever.
And it's the same thing. I found 2 things for me. I found that I had so much more time.
Sure.
Because it does take you time. So when I seen your social media presence, and I could see there was obviously a period where you was on there, but now you're not. Yep. And it's evident because you're busy doing what you're doing. And that's why I asked you that question with Bali, where you're at. And it's funny you mentioned your higher power moment, because I could really see that shift of when you went back to your mum's and you touched over it. You said it was a dark period for you, and you elaborated. And again, my condolences to your father at that time.
To you, mate.
I know what it's like to be in that period, and for you to be sat what you're doing now, putting your gym first, putting you first, prioritizing your things, and everything's manifesting. I don't want to use that word too much, but around you now, you've got an energy of what you're doing, where you've been in the darkness, you've come out into the light, and you're appreciating what you're doing. And for me, that's again why we're doing things like this, is to have this conversation. Hopefully it reaches other people who see things, and it inspires them to say, well, if you've gone from there during Bali and during COVID, during lockdown, and to have an industry that just completely shut off, people who you was living with had to leave, and you said before, put you in the shit, to go back to your mum's in Bolton, and then come from that back to where you were. So you started back in the modelling stuff, and then that projected you to where you're at. It's higher power stuff, because you started to shift with yourself, but to go from the darkness to there, that's why I wanted to hear about that from you, because it'll inspire other people.
Oh, I hope so.
And you're doing what you're doing now.
This is the reason why I wanted to get you down. It's because of this journey that you've been on, and it's inspirational.
Yeah.
And that struggle is important. That hitting rock bottom.
Struggle's important. I hit the rock bottom. There's only one way up, you know.
Because everyone sees the amazing pictures on Instagram. Yeah. Everyone sees and chapter and verse said it before. Everybody sees all the stuff on the surface, but doesn't see what's going on behind the curtain. So to speak. And you've had to do all that.
And that period there, no one saw it apart from my own family. Well, it's just my mum, really.
Yeah.
I remember I had one particular moment where I just brought it down for my mum. And then it's kind of like, that was the low point, you know. And then just build it slowly from there. And like I said before, you don't need to see the end. Just deal with what you can control. Even if that's just going back to gym, or sorting your diet out, or writing a few emails to someone who might be able to help you, or asking a friend for help. Yeah. Just little things, and eventually it will just keep growing and growing. I think it's all a mindset thing, you know.
The bite-sized chunks, like the brick analogy is fantastic.
Will Smith.
I still, you
mentioned this in the way. I wanted to ask you.
I want to ask Lloyd. It's coming up. Well, just on that point, and I've said it as well. Is it's interesting because I love climbing mountains and stuff. Tenzing plug again. Is you can't climb a mountain in one step, can you?
No.
You've just got to go. And what you're saying there is that, you know, just put your head down and do the small thing. But the Will Smith stuff, I said to Jacky, I want to ask you, you've met Will Smith in person. I've seen it when I was researching your socials, and Stephen Bartlett.
Yep.
Did you get to ask them a question? And if you did, what did you ask them?
What did I ask? I can't remember what I asked Stephen Bartlett, but I did ask Will Smith. I told him I liked his jacket, to be honest. I crumbled. I thought, I mean, Will Smith, I'm going to ask him this, I'm going to ask you that, because that. And then I walked over to him, and I was just like, I forgot what I was going to say. I was like, nice jacket, mate. Anyway, cool, bro. Shook his hand, and that was it. I thought, fuck, is that it? Yeah. Nice jacket. Is that it? Is that all you've got?
You told him the brick story, and then he's telling it everybody. No, you passed that on. Lloyd was like, you start with a brick and you build a wall, Will. Take that on.
Sounds like But yeah, that was a nice moment to see Will. Then he went and slapped someone.
Oh, yeah.
But he's back now. He's back.
Was that real, or was it set up?
What?
I don't think he was himself.
No chance.
He did so bad to him PR-wise.
No, it wasn't in his favour. Why would he agree to that? Chris Rock cleaned up after that as well.
Mates, weren't they? Like they were actually friends. But
that
was a crazy moment.
He was going through some shit, wasn't he? I want to comment on that. But Will Smith's going to be listening to this in a few weeks going, I was listening to Bear Chat. I'm going to DM that Jacky. He's such a prick. What are they on about? I'll slap him if I see him next time. All right, well, we're running out of time, Lloyd, but we've got one thing we want to do. Pete, I'll let you lead this because do you want to explain what we do?
Okay, so Pass the Book is what we do, and it's left by the previous guest.
But he didn't read.
Yes.
And we had a conversation about this, and I actually said, do you want me just to pick a book for you? So we picked a book. It's actually a book that I recommended to Pete about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
So basically, the game, what we're supposed to do, he's not done.
No, but we're still going to continue it by giving you a better book.
Oh, amazing.
So we went into the bookstore before to get a book, and this book just stood out on the top shelf. We didn't even plan to get it. And I'm reading it. I've got about 10 pages left. Yeah. It's wicked, and I think you're going to love it.
Amazing. What is it?
So it's called
Ikigai.
Ikigai.
Oh, wow.
Hold it up so we can show, because we're going to do a little Ikigai.
Based on what Lloyd's been talking about today. He's going to love Ikigai.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, mate.
You're going to love Ikigai, man.
I'm looking forward to reading this. The people of Japan believe that everyone was an Ikigai. A reason to jump out of bed each morning is perfect for what we were talking about as well. You smashed it. Yeah, like you knew what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
The universe works in mysterious ways.
Well, doing Defected and D for Dance now, that's your Ikigai.
It is.
He's doing his Ikigai. Yeah.
And
wicked
mate,
book.
Thank you so much for
coming
coming
welcome,
down.
mate. I've had so much fun with you guys. It's been amazing. It's been nice to talk. Things I've not talked about to anyone before. So yeah, it was quite therapeutic actually.
Mate, brilliant. Really good. You know, inspirational, depth, and I appreciate the conversation as well. Thanks for coming on, because it's inspired me, man. Wicked. Really good.
Nice Thank you, brother.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Okay.